On the 16th of July 2006, a big change happened in the lives of my parents. No, it's nothing scary. It's the day that I was born. Change, according to me, is very person specific. It holds a different dimension from person to person. I'm sure that I'll be making sense when I say that the changes that we have planned for allows us and our minds to explore the various components and repercussions that it brings along with it. But on the other hand, the unplanned changes, those on which we have no hold on, these changes often put us through very distressing situations. And these unpleasant changes force us out of the safe cocoon that life has otherwise provided us with. I'm sure that most of you here are not ready to embrace change with open arms. And why is that? Why are you not ready to do such a thing? It is because you are used to seeing what happens around you each and every day. And you tend to think that life holds some kind of pattern and that this pattern is not going to change in the near future. You've gotten too comfortable with your own lives and you believe that there is nothing or no one in this entire universe that can disrupt this pattern. In my 16 years of life on this planet, I've encountered a few major changes, and these changes have had a huge impact on my life. Life was smooth and picture perfect. My dad was working a 9 to 6 job. The timings were sometimes extended. You know how workplaces go. My mom was a stay-at-home wife who took care of the needs of our entire family. And my sister and me were basking in the glory of a very happy childhood. We were the happiest creatures alive. But someday, during the year of 2017, my dad decided to drop his 9 to 6 job in order to take up a business that he was planning on for quite some time. Now all of us were ready to enter the next phase of our lives. This job required my father to travel across the country a lot on a very regular basis. So one thing that hit me hard as a child was the fact that he was not around much. Family time and size both were reduced to a great extent, and we just carried on with our everyday tasks in a very monotonous way. But as time passed by, I slowly realized that my dad was working hard for our family and to secure our future. And this made me realize that change always brings along with it some kind of learning. And the thing that I learned from this experience was the fact that embracing change with open arms allows you to maintain your sanity to a great extent. Let me now take you through the year of 2018 to 2019. This was the year when my parents had encouraged and prepared me to take up the entrance examinations for various military schools across the country. Monday to Friday was regular schoolwork and the weekends were reserved for preparation for the exam. This was a huge change for a 13-year-old lad like me, as I was extending my envelope a bit too far away from my reach. The road to preparation was very difficult as I had to accept and accustom myself to the various changes that this rigorous exercise brought with it. So I geared up and took the examination. I missed entry into the Rashtriya Indian Military College of Dehradun by the margin of a very few marks. I was consumed by the pain of my failure, but I was told to think that I had not failed but learned. This was not a happy experience in the least, but it molded me, which in turn boosted up my confidence a few notches. Subsequently, I cracked the entrance examination for the Sainik School in Thiruvananthapuram, where among 400 students, only 30 students were able to do so. And I was very glad that I could be one among them. Now I thought that I was going to embark on a new journey, but I was met with failure. Failure. I was given to understand that from the students belonging to the other state category, so many students, only just one student was to be selected And as fate would have it, that was not me. So along with a platter of disappointment, this experience drilled into me trademark traits like flexibility, time management, multitasking, and most importantly, navigating and steering through the various disappointments in life. I started taking myself more seriously. This was more so because I came from a household where I've been told to think that it is okay to lose or fail, but it is a sin not to try. Hence, the journey from a caterpillar to a butterfly began. Another life changing experience happened when I got the opportunity to participate as a delegate in the Harvard Model United Nations India, commonly known as HMUN India, way back in 2019 when I was just an 8th grader. As most of you know, HMUN India is a platform through which the delegates can learn and simulate the various powers of the United Nations and the international system surrounding it. Here I was, a naive first-time delegate in the midst of over 1,500 young high school minds from 150 high schools and 15 countries across the globe. It gave me chills to think that I had to take initiative and participate in the highest level of debate, trying to simulate and solve some of the biggest problems that the world was facing. Was this experience easy? Absolutely not. But this profound change pushed me out of my comfort zone and later became a vehicle for me to foster my growth in the various unexpected arenas of my life. This past experience, combined with practice and skill, chiseled me into a strong delegate this time around in 2020. Let's now rewind to the dreadful year of 2020. Yes, the year when coronavirus had gripped the entire world. Normal life was brought to a crashing halt. This journey was choppy and downright bumpy. There were a lot of things that we had to adapt ourselves to during this difficult time. And for students like me, one important thing was adapting to the online mode of education. Now, sitting in front of a computer and listening to the online class without being able to change tabs to watch YouTube or any other media was the most difficult thing for me to do. And I'm a teenager, so I love being around my friends. I'm always around them. Battling social isolation was the order of the day. And I'm sure that most of us here have a very difficult time trying to maintain a balanced life in itself. But maintaining a balanced life during such times of uncertainty was the most important thing to do. And as I've told you, change always brings along with it some kind of learning. Not taking the love and life of your loved ones for granted and embracing each and every little aspect of life was something that this difficult time had taught me. At this juncture, I would like to convey that embracing change with open arms has allowed me to introspect myself by turning the torch inwards. I was compelled to rely on my strengths rather than to get bogged down by my weaknesses. And I'm happy to inform you that common and uncommon changes have allowed me to knock on the doors of various opportunities. And I started believing that ordinary and safe decisions will never create extraordinary results. I was given to understand that when I embrace change and move on with the new normal, I would have to face my fears, fight my demons, and emerge as a new individual in totality. Right now, I'm reminded of a famous quote by Mr. Carl Jung, which states that what we resist always persists. This made me understand that it is not the change or the situation that decides how your life will go, but rather what you do to react to such changes that decides the trajectory of your life. Now, at any given moment, you can ask me, why embrace change? Why should there be a need to embrace change? Well, the answer is pretty simple. It is needed for self-renewal and continuous growth. Now, I want all of you to pause for a moment and think. What would happen if you stop accepting the changes that life throws at you? I'm sure you're able to visualize something. If I were asked this, I would say that I would feel like a stagnant pool of water, just staying wherever I was, not being able to move forward and clinging to the glory days of my old past. And whenever I feel scared to embrace any kind of new change, I always remind myself that I am not the only one in this arduous journey. But on the other hand, there are an umpteen number of other individuals sailing in the same boat. And whenever you feel that there is nothing that can be done to improvise a situation, just always remind yourself that there is something that can always be done to better the situation. I want all of you to remember something. Change is always the hardest at the beginning, the messiest in the middle, and the best at the end. Let me repeat myself. Change is always the hardest at the beginning, the messiest in the middle, and the best at the end. So embrace change, embrace life. Thank you.